Good everybody. I'd like to welcome you to our agenda meeting. Today is Wednesday, May 31, and for the record, the time is 7 p.m. We'll move along as rapidly as possible. We have two public hearings tonight and one joint public hearing, which will require us to go into public hearing, then out of public hearing, then back into joint public hearing to follow protocol. Also, those wishing to speak in the joint public hearing, as is a quasi-judicial thing, will have to come forward and register with the clerk and be sworn when we get to that point of testimony. Okay, first item. Chair, hear a motion to go into public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into public hearings. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no. Accordingly, we're in public hearing. The first item is a public hearing to receive comments on the application for a permit for a street event for the Church on the Rise Missions Color Run. We have the application for this. It's going to be the first Saturday in October. We've got some technical problems with the application, and that the application is telling us they want to race on Washington and Church Street, but the plan sent to us from our planner indicates they're going to be on Elm and Cedar Street, as was indicated in the paper this morning that we would be on Washington and Church. Mr. Hassel, would you clarify that for us? Do we need to get the application consistent with the route of the run?
Yes, sir. No, I did not believe you need to get the application correct. For the reason is when I ask you to apply for something, I want you to apply for what you want. So Ms. Cockrell applied for what she wanted. She wanted a route that was downtown in Washington and Church Street. And if you recall, during the Blooming Festival, we have to have church open if we're on Washington, and vice versa for other events. So we couldn't let those lifelines both be clogged up. So with our technical review committee, which Ms. Cockrell was a part of these are the routes that you have that we've agreed on, the 1 mile route and the 5K route, which closely resembles the Monster Dash. So that'll be a double loop, and it does go down Cedar and Elm. As far as I'm concerned, the application is complete. She submitted something in March, and we ironed out all the details in April, and in May now we're ready for you guys to look at it.
So we're safe on the application process?
Yes, sir, and the DOT is aware of the changes as well.
The police are aware of where it's going to be?
Yes, sir.
Because, a number of Blooming Festivals ago, we had an event where the county recreation had to run through town, and we approved one route. They went out and changed the markers and went somewhere else. We had people running through cars, and the police were it was just a real mess. We don't want that to happen here. Okay, moving forward. Does anyone from the general public have anything to say for or against this activity? Yes, ma'am. Would you come to the podium and state your name and address, please, for the record?
I'm Larissa Cockrell, and I'm from Rocky Mount with Church on the Rise. And I was just going to say thank you for considering this as an opportunity for us to do something fun in Nashville.
Yeah, okay. My first concern was the color you're going to throw at everybody. I thought it was paste or ink or something. I was later informed it was like baby powder or talcum or something.
It is. It's like it's a powder that washes off
Not a problem.
quite easily.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other comments? Any council comments?
Mayor, I do have one comment or
Okay,
question
Mr.
that
Taylor.
we answered. On both of the maps, it gives a starting point that's being at the parking lot. I'm assuming it's the parking lot of the Church on the Rise. Is that correct?
Yeah.
That being said, it looks like we won't have to. You're requesting to block off that section of Washington Street from the church up to the Cooley Corner, not Cooley Corner, but the 3 point. We used to call it 3 points at the top of the hill. That
Top of the
light.
hill, yeah.
I don't see where we can shut that section down, because people coming into town from that direction, they're gonna bottleneck right there where we block it off at, and have to turn them around and send them back the other way. They can't even make it up the hill to go down to Church Street.
Okay. We may have to consult with the chief on that. They may want to use one like. Do you have any plan for that, chief?
Yeah, what's the plans for that?
Yes, sir. We were going to do that the same way we do the Monster Dash. So when the race starts, it won't be a problem just to stop traffic for probably 2 minutes until that section clears. And then the bottleneck may occur when the runners are coming back kind of staggered. But the way we handle it during Monster Dash is we stop traffic while the runners get through there, and then we let traffic go through. So it's not a complete blocking of traffic, it's just to allow the runners to pass.
So you don't have a problem with it?
No, sir.
Well, then I don't
Nope.
either. Okay.
Okay. So they come back, they all start in one group, they'll come back, they'll be scattered out over time.
That's correct.
Right.
Will you just maybe designate one lane or something for them to run in?
Yes, sir. So as the runners come back, they'll be staggered, and so there'll be a few large chunks of individuals, and we'll stop traffic to let them through, and then as the individuals come through, we'll stop traffic to allow
You
them.
can manage it.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay, good, thank you.
That was my concern.
Okay, very good. Other comments? Okay, if not, we'll declare this public hearing closed. The second item, to receive comments on the consideration of a resolution to close the portion of the alley bordering the properties on the corner of Western Avenue and Clark Street. At our last meeting, we resolved to close this thing following public hearing as required by law. If you will look in your package, you will see the map over here. It's a sort of a right angle piece of property running between Clark Street and Western Avenue, adjacent to the property that Al Edwards owns and some other persons. We're not so sure what that was there for, but we seem to think it was there from ages gone by for a garbage pickup. And the plan is, of course, to relinquish ownership of it and divide it with the bordering landowners. That being said, anyone from the general public have anything to say for or against this? Anyone from council? Okay, nothing, that will close that one. Okay, to hear a motion, we got a public hearing.
So made.
It's been moved and
Second.
seconded, we go out of public hearings. Any discussion? All those in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Accordingly, we're out of public hearing. Now we need a motion to go into joint public hearing.
So made.
It's been moved and seconded to go into joint public hearings. Any discussion? Okay, there being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Okay, accordingly, we're in joint public hearing. This is a public hearing to receive comments on consideration of a special use permit to establish a daycare facility on the property located at 400 Essex Drive. This property is zoned R10 Medium Density Residential District as identified as parcel ID 380116838503. Okay, we have to have those persons who are going to speak in this to be sworn in. Will those persons come forward, please? Okay. We're supposed to have two groups of people, those for and those against. So you're for and against? No? Okay. Okay. Will you come forward to be sworn, please? Put your right hand on that. Raise your left hand. And do you swear that the evidence that you shall give the board this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay, consider yourself sworn for this purpose. Thank you. All right. Okay, that being said, there are rules of the road for joint public hearings, which I will read very briefly because of the limited amount of persons who want to speak. But understand that this is a quasi-judicial public hearing resembling a court of law. That's why we require these things, as well as the planning board to be present. I thank them for their presence this evening, in which we have limited time which you can speak, which we make it to be 15 minutes. And anyone can speak. Everyone has to be sworn. The hearing is open. A staff representative will present their preliminary statements, and then the applicant is called to present their situation, and then we'll pose questions, and we'll make a decision on this, following what the planning board tells us, and we'll handle that at our legislative session on Tuesday. And the rules, of course, is that all speakers shall speak from the podium, and the applicant should present the arguments and evidence to show that the standards of the applicable ordinances have been met as concisely as possible. And other speakers should endeavor to limit their testimony to 5 minutes. And the mayor may extend this time if the speaker needs more time to present additional new evidence. But all speakers should address the approval criteria must avoid inflammatory, irrelevant, or repetitious testimony. And groups are encouraged to select a spokesperson. In this place, I think we just got one, so we're not worried about that. And speakers may introduce exhibits, letters, these sorts of things. And all speakers should ensure their testimony is relevant and consist of statements and facts which the speaker can personally testify, and not statements, words, or others not testifying, and is not speculative opinions or generalized objections. And only those persons who are qualified experts in appropriate fields should testify. So we'll talk about that if we need to get to that point. And for this special use permit, the approval criteria are 4. Will the use not materially endanger the public health or safety if located where proposed and developed according to the plan as submitted and approved? And second, the use meets all required conditions and specifications. And C, the use will not substantially injure the value of adjoining or abutting property, and that the use is a public necessity. And D, the location and character of the use, if developed according to the plan as submitted and approved, will be in harmony with the area in which it is to be located, and in general conformity with the plan of development for the town. Okay, with all those things said and done, I'd like to ask our planning director to give us a preliminary assessment of the situation and a presentation of the question.
Yes, sir. I'll be brief. Daycares are allowed by right in business districts. In residential districts, they require a special use permit, which is why Ms. Wright is here today. In doing so, we do have extra development standards that our ordinance calls for, hours of operation, buffers, things of that nature. As a staff, we've reviewed those. She meets and exceeds everything that we ask of her to do. Another layer of this that we're not involved in, when you have an in-home daycare or a daycare for any size, you have to have a state rep that comes and actually works with you on an individual basis to let you know what you can and can't do. Ms. Wright can't get that far in the process until we give her our blessings. So that's another reason that we're here today. The piece of property is 400 Essex Road, which is just south of Nash Central Middle School off of 1st Street Extension. As I've said, she meets and exceeds all of our standards, and I do believe you have a complete application for your review.
Okay, thank you. Okay, those persons wishing to speak for the issue will now come forward and announce their name and address for the record, please.
My name is Tanya Wright. I live on 400 Essex Road in Nashville. I have been working with children for 30 years plus. I worked in daycares. I kept my sister and brother, cousins at a young age. I went there and started working to the homes. I had 4 families I was helping before I went back out to the work world. I went there and I had been working 2 jobs for 5 years. That particular day, I went there, went in the back room. I was so tired. Went in the back room and I started to cry. The sweetest voice came to me and said, "What are you doing? What is your passion?" I started smiling. Children is my passion. So he said, "Get you a home and get you a daycare." So this is where I'm at. And I'm so overjoyed because I'm going to be doing it in his name and taking care of those wonderful babies that I love to do. So this is where I'm at. And I thank you all for letting me take the time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Hassel, by policy, you're supposed to notify all the adjoining property owners. You hear anything from any of those people?
No, sir, we did not. We've written everybody that adjoins the property, a sign's in her front yard, and it's been posted in the newspaper for 2 consecutive weeks, and we had no phone calls of any sort.
No comments on anything?
No, sir.
Okay, good. Council have any questions?
Mr. Mayor, I'm very familiar with the location and of Ms. Wright, and I asked her earlier before we started the meeting. I said, have you had any feedback from all the neighbors? And I think she has already touched bases with all the neighbors, just about everybody on the entire street, and everybody, according to what she's telling me, and I have no reason to think otherwise, that everybody's in support of it.
Good. Okay. Good. Other comments?
I was wondering, how many children are you anticipating?
I can start with, for me, by myself, I can do 8. I can have 5 children, 0 to 5, and then I have 3 after school. And then after then, I would have to bring someone in to help me. So that's the state.
So you're starting with 8, and you don't anticipate any traffic problems? Or
No, ma'am, I have plenty of room. I even, already trying to figure out how we're gonna let them, if we do the parking, for them to get in and out, so it won't be no hassle with that.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone from the planning board have anything, any questions or comments? Okay, if not, then, we'll turn this over to the planning session when they meet after we meet here. Okay, the chair here motion, we go out of joint public hearing.
So maybe.
Second.
Been moved and second, we go out of joint public hearing. Is there any discussion? If there being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Okay, we're out of joint public hearing. Okay, council comments. Who wants to go first? Mr. Taylor?
The only thing I have to say, Mayor, is it's just, it's amazing and it's overjoying to see how Nashville is really growing. We've got new businesses that want to come in home and outside. And we've got people here tonight, I understand, for another reason, and everybody is welcome. But Nashville's a great place. When you look at the news and see the problems that other people are having, and you just don't understand how much work it takes to go into it. But hopefully we're doing the right thing, and by not getting phone calls all hours of the night, I think we all doing the right thing, and I just hope we just continue to do so. And for those of you that are here tonight, I know you're here for a specific reason, but don't let a specific reason be the reason you come to your council meetings. Come when you don't have anything at hand to do to come see how this town has to work and see what we're doing. Other than that, I'll shut my mouth.
Thank you. Mr. Taylor?
No comments.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Hinton?
Well, again, I thank the planning board.
Ms. Coleman?
No comments.
Okay, good. I'd like to thank everybody for coming, particularly those persons who are representing our municipal service district, who I understand are going to have an organizational meeting after the planning board meets. Okay, with all that said and done, the planning board will take their station here, and we will adjourn, and we'll make decisions on whatever involves next Tuesday night. Does the chair hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? There being none, all in favor indicate so by saying yes.
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 Opposed, no. Accordingly, we are adjourned. Okay. Okay.